Hello, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. So, wanted to give some advice to guys out there. 3 reasons as to why you may not make success in cryptocurrency. That means obviously trying to make a profit with the investments that you hold. I call them investments because I don't look at it as gambling in any way, shape or form. I only think it's that if you treat it as such, but that doesn't necessarily mean it actually has to be gambling. I think if you invest into the right things, it will be an investment, not you hoping for, like a meme coin that will just go to the moon and make you an instant millionaire. I think if you do the right due diligence and the right research, then you could be holding assets that will be valuable, which were just smart plays rather than you buying a coin and just hoping for the best. So I'm going to go through 3 things that I think is the main reason as to why people won't see the success that they want out of crypto and investing in crypto. Okay, now these 3 can really be used interchangeably. So although I'm going to do 3, I'm not necessarily doing it in an order, because really depending on the person, it could be applicable that what I say is number 3 is number 1 to them. It kind of just depends on your circumstances. But I think these are 3 things that I commonly see that are the problem. They're holding people back from making a profit. So number 3 I'm going to say is you're over leveraged. Okay, so over leveraged is basically whether you've leveraged because you're trying to short the market, or you're doing margin because you're buying from the market. But long story short, it's basically investing with more money than you actually have. Okay, and I think this is a problem, because when you're investing with money that you don't have, okay, let's change that just for a second. Let's just say it is your money that you're investing with, but maybe you invested more than you're really willing to lose, because even that's enough, right? If you've got enough exposure into the market where this money is really, like your life savings, for example, it's going to affect you when you start seeing the money going down, right? And that's what's going to lead you to making rash decisions. So the problem is that when you're overexposed, is that if you start seeing it go a way that you're not prepared for, then you get worried, you get scared, and you panic, because this is obviously money that you can't really afford to lose. And that's where the problem comes in, leading to panic selling, or getting liquidated. It's a big problem, because it's going to affect your emotions dramatically, and it's also just going to affect your decision making. It's not going to allow you to make a well thought out decision. And, for the most part, that decision could turn out later on to be a bad decision, but you just didn't have the time to wait it out, or give yourself the time that you needed just to really think things through before you make that decision. So that's number 1. Being over leveraged. I think it's best to have money in the market that you can afford to lose. That way, yes, it's still not going to be great if you lose that money, but it's not going to affect you in such a bad way, and that will keep you having a clear head when you're making your decisions, because it's not the end of the world if you do lose it. Yeah, it's going to suck, but it's not the end of the world, right? So that's the first one. Number 2, I'm going to say number 2, patience. Patience. I've seen so many people when it's come into like this, bull market and bear market, and as soon as the bear market comes in, because they've come off the height of a bull market and they're seeing everything drop so dramatically, all of a sudden the sentiment changes so quickly, and people are so fickle. What was once, crypto is the greatest thing ever, I'm making so much money hand over fist, becomes, oh my god, this, crypto is all a scam. I can't believe I ever put money into it. It's never going to go anywhere. And, that's where, again, you're letting your emotions rule your head here, and you're not looking at this from a long-term perspective. And I think that's a bit of the problem with crypto, is that, we've seen, Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example, coins that have just shot up to ridiculous amounts of money. And so a lot of people now think they want to get that coin that's going to get them that type of reward, that type of profit. But one thing that people don't understand is that didn't happen overnight, right? It wasn't, we seen it as an overnight thing because we didn't have the exposure at that time. So when it did take off, all of a sudden it's like, oh, what's this Bitcoin thing that's all of a sudden jumped up in price? But there's a lot of time that went into holding that asset until it got to that position. And that's what people don't understand. And I think this is the problem with crypto, is that a lot of people are in it for just the quick wins, the quick, instant millionaire. And what you're essentially doing at that point, that is kind of like gambling, right? Like if you're just hoping that somebody's just going to instantly make you money, you might get lucky. It's kind of like winning the lottery, right? You might get lucky. You might pick one and get lucky. But I think if that's the only way you're looking at this, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for you, because I think a lot of these coins that are really going to be valuable, it is a long-term thing, unfortunately. It's not going to be an overnight thing. So I do think you still have to look at this from a bit of a more long-term aspect than just, I'm picking this coin and I think it's going to go crazy. And you just hoping for the best with your fingers crossed. So patience, yeah. I think that's definitely the second one that I would say is affecting people from profiting. And yeah, number one, the third one, I would say research. And this is definitely a huge problem, because again, people are picking coins, but they're not really picking them based on doing any kind of research. They're letting someone just sell them a coin and saying how big it's going to be and how it's going to go to the moon, or they just see a celebrity endorsing it. And they're just jumping in. They're just jumping in on the hype. They're not actually doing any research to see what their white paper says. They're not trying to see what their utility is. They're not trying to see what they're trying to accomplish in a year's time, in 2 years' time. They just get caught up in the hype. Everybody's talking about how it's going to go to the moon. So they want to get in because they've got FOMO, that's fear of missing out. And then they just throw their money in and they start believing that coin is going to make them the millions that they've been after. And again, that's the problem. You're not doing proper research. You're just falling for a marketing campaign. It's easy to be sold a dream, but when you actually do the real research and you really look into what you've got, that's when you can have confidence. And again, this is what will help you during a bear market. It's when you believe in the assets that you're holding. That's what I call an investment. That's when it's not gambling, right? When you just, fell for like a meme coin, yeah, that's kind of gambling, because you're just hoping for the best. You've got suckered in just by hearing some, positive news and having a person who can really spin a great speech to you, and you fell for it. But when you actually do your research and you've looked into what the coin does and what its real utility is and what it can do, that's when you can feel confident that, hey, I really believe that this is going to be valuable someday, because the use case of this is something that the world needs. It's something that's going to make the world a better place. It's going to make the world better for people, right? And that's the confidence that you can have then when you're in the bear market, that you're not just going to panic sell, because you can say, yes, this is down right now. I may not even be in profit right now with what I'm holding, but I believe long term, this is going to work out to be something valuable for me. So I'm going to hold on to this because I truly believe in what this is going to do in the future. And that's what gives you the confidence, and that's what helps you sleep at night, knowing that you're holding something that will, well, what you believe will make you a profit in the long term. And so with all those three things combined, I think that's just what leads to a lot of people not making money. They're not really, they're not really looking at what they have. They're not doing their proper research. They're not having the patience to actually see that this may take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. and then they may have thrown way too much money into it because they was hoping for something that was going to be a quick win. That was hoping something that was going to happen overnight and make them millions. And I think those three things, especially if you've got all those three in together, it's just a bad combination, and it's going to lead to a lot of heartbreak for a lot of people. So I hope this helps for anybody out there who's in the crypto market, the crypto space, and especially if you're thinking about getting into it. I think this might be valuable for you, and hopefully you can take something from this, and this is something that you can learn from before you do start investing, because we're all here to try and hopefully make profit out of this, right? And I think there is definitely profit here to be made, but you've definitely got to do it in the right way. That's how it's going to happen. And definitely have a bit of a long-term mindset. If you do get something in the short term, great, you got lucky. But if not, hey, if you've got something that you feel is really valuable from what you researched, then I'd like to think that you've made the right choice, and in the long term, you're going to be okay. So I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. But what do you think? Do you agree with what I've said? Is there something else that you think that plays a part in this? Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until the next one, take care.